Guys, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to fulfill this mandate in Ephesians 5, where the Bible says this: have no part with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. Have no part with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. When you're dealing with a narcissist in your life, it's not just about you and what you can take. And mind you, you will not be able to take as much as you think you can. You can take much more than more people, but you cannot be able to get to the limits where there are no limits, because the limits that every narcissist has for you, for every target, is for their death. Make no mistake about it. It is a war. It's a very spiritual war, and it's a very serious business, which is why even now, as much as the flu is doing rounds in the UK and I happen to be a victim, I can't even wait for my convalescence to be over before I make this video, because I don't know why the Spirit is prompting me to make this right now. But if you're here, if you're watching this, this is very much pertinent to your life. You are to expose evil by having no part with it. You are supposed to leave the narcissist. That's the first way that you expose evil, is by not staying in the same circles. If it is in a marriage, you must divorce. There's no answer. With a narcissist, there's no answer. I know it will be inconveniencing. I know it will even be dangerous for you to leave. I know a lot is at stake. And there are some psychologists out there who say, maybe for the sake of your children and whatnot, you shouldn't leave. Of course, use your own discernment. And if you are in a situation where it is totally impossible for you to leave, not because of you, because if it's for you, you must leave. In this channel, we do not teach people to live together with narcissists. We teach them how to separate from them. But if it's not possible, completely not possible, you cannot be the reason why it's not possible. It has to be bigger than you. Maybe there's children who, if you left, are not safe, or such like things. And even so, you have to seek therapy every day. You must have a circle of friends who you are always pouring into and who are always pouring into you. Because if you don't, the life force that is being drawn out of you every day will lead to your eventual demise. You must leave. So that's the first way that you expose these unfruitful works of darkness, by not having part in them, is by divorcing narcissists. If it is a job, you have to leave that job. You might think to yourself, oh, if I leave, how will I afford rent? Where will my next meal come from? Those answers are not for you to know right now. And you cannot get those answers. You're not even capable. You're not smart enough to be able to get those answers. Because those kinds of solutions come from a heavenly background. They come from a divine source. For you, it is to understand that I am now entangled with a Satanist and I must leave. You cannot be bringing value to a boss, to a company that is being run by narcissists. That is literally, like Jesus said, don't take your diamonds or your pearls and throw them among or cast them among swine. Can't take your precious stones and give them to pigs. And then he continues and he says, otherwise they will turn around and tear you to pieces. Have you ever noticed, even when you're kind to narcissists, they get angry because of it? If it's in a church, maybe you're gifted, maybe you're generous, you're kind, This is not an energy they are familiar with. They don't know how this feeling, they can't understand that you're offering things for free. They can't understand. They don't know the language of love, of giving without expecting back. And so they will do their best to undo you. They'll do their best to destroy and utterly have you out of such a church, because you are a positive force that comes to show the contrast between them, who are there for their own personal gain, and you, who are there for the gain of others. You must leave even if it is a church. Now, in special circumstances, Jesus said, you should let the wheat and the tares grow up together until the rapture that will come at the end. I'll submit to you that that does not apply to leadership. That does not apply to church leadership. That applies to the congregation. So you're not supposed, the congregation can have all manner and types of people. You never leave a church because of the kind of congregation that is there. As long as the leadership is genuine. The leadership cannot have narcissists in it. If your pastors are narcissists, if your deacons are narcissists, you have to leave that church. You're not forsaking the assembly of believers. That doesn't apply in that situation. The leadership has to be one. The congregation can be as messy as it wants to be, but the people leading cannot be leading you to hell. I hope I've helped someone with that. The third is if it's in a school or an institution or a job, a workplace. You know, we are. Have you ever worked in a place where people are friendly the first time you met, and then all of a sudden, these people who used to praise you, these people who used to love you, all of a sudden, without warning, everyone just hates you? It's usually because there's a narcissist going under, there's an undercurrent of narcissism going around, poisoning people about you, turning people against you in every way possible. And they cannot point to one thing you've done. That's one of the things you will discover. It's like they just hate you for fun, or they hate you because they are not courageous enough to take the responsibility to deal with the inconveniences that come with standing up for what is right, which is usually what you're standing up for in such a company or such an institution. And so the narcissist goes around poisoning everyone against you. Get me? People who are friends or friendly all of a sudden are not anymore. And you are a problem. You become the issue. And no one can say one single thing you've done wrong. When you're in such a situation, when you see such colleagues, don't be the kind of employer who is like that, especially if your job is a job that has some sort of oversight over people. Don't be that kind of colleague to people. Hey, I had to pause the video for a second. So the other way that you do not have part with the unfruitful works of darkness and that you expose them is by simply using speech. Remember in my last video, I told you words are things. You expose evil using speech. Okay? I don't mind the person walking behind me is just a friend. So when you expose darkness, you have to use words. Many of the times I've heard this word, you should preach the gospel without using words. There's no such thing, because the Lord, the prophets, all those people, they used words. They did not just deliver the message of God using actions. They used words. So you also, in exposing evil, must use words. You must call things out as they are. And it is your mandate. You are required to do it. God in Revelation 21:8 said, part of the people who will be cast into hell are people who are cowards. Being a coward is not a virtue. Don't think you're getting away with it. Remember what the white man said: evil prospers when good men do nothing. It's the same thing. If you do not expose evil, if you do not say things for what they are, you are participating in that evil. You are enabling it by proxy. That's the other way you expose evil. So another way you expose evil, another way you expose and do not have part with the unfruitful works of darkness, is by refusing their favors. This is what is usually called love bombing. Now, at the first, when you're being love bombed, you need to go back and watch videos that have made about love bombing. After you've discovered what's really going on, this is what will happen. There's a stage that has commonly come to be called the hovering stage among narcissistic circles, where after the narcissist has love bombed you, after he has devalued you, after they have discarded you, and it's over, you already discovered and you've parted ways, they still find ways to come back to you, either by something that you own that they are holding on to, and they know at a certain point in time you will require it. So I'll use it as the way to get in touch with you. Or whichever way, coming and pretending that they are sorry. Oh, I'll never repeat it. Oh, I've seen my mistakes. Narcissists can't change. Do you understand? And if you go back, you will actually die this time. Do not be deceived. You expose evil by refusing their favors. Any conveniences that narcissists give you, they give to validate themselves. A narcissist thinks they are the empath. Do you know that? If you come across, say, these are who are called communal narcissists, maybe those in churches or in charities and whatnot, they'll usually do something and deceive people and themselves that this actually makes me a good person. And they use that to cover their narcissism. And one way you expose this evil is by simply refusing what they are offering. Because you accepting them is you validating them in their eyes. Because they think, oh, if I've done this for you, if I've done this, if I've given this to you, that means that I'm a good person, that I'm not as bad as I thought, that I'm not a narcissist. So that's the other way, that you have no part with the unfruitful works of darkness. In fact, you can comment in other ways where you think in your own lives this lesson applies. Another way you should not have any part with the unfruitful works of darkness is by this. You, after refusing what they are offering, you need to make it known. You need to make it known what they're actually doing. Forgive me, I have a flu. There's a flu doing rounds in the UK right now. I just happened to be one of the victims, but I'm healing. Wish me a speedy convalescence. Thank you. But yeah. So yeah, that's why my voice is probably a bit down, a bit low, a bit. I hope it's clear enough. But yeah. As we are talking about exposing this, having no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but exposing them, you also expose evil by offering that which is good. You understand? If you find a toxic culture of selfishness, be the one who gives. Don't fall in line with these NPCs and these bots, these children of the devil. Don't fall in line, whether they're in your company, your colleagues, whether they are in your churches, in your mosques. I don't care where they are. Anywhere you find these toxic people who form themselves into groups and everyone is like a robot, just doing what the group says. You have no mind of your own. Someone comes and talks about someone, all of you have to agree. All of us have to hate that person. And you can't even point to one thing they've done wrong. Mm. Have you noticed as a chosen one, people hate you for fun? It's because they wish you were wrong. They are jealous of what's really going on with you. They can see your light. Not that's not to say you're perfect, but they can see, they can feel your difference because you cannot hide energy. When you walk into that place, just walking, they can feel that something has come to disturb our darkness. And they wish you were wrong, but they cannot point to one single thing. They'll defend anyone else. They'll defend anyone else who you are pitted against. No matter what they do, they'll defend them. And they will hate you. You're the one who will be the issue. But they cannot point to one issue, one mistake you've done. That's how you know you're dealing with bots, NPCs, slaves of the matrix. People who are cowards, who are not strong enough to stand up and deal with the rejection, uh, the pain, the results that come with doing right. Those are not people you should care about their opinion. So anyway, today, I'm not feeling well. I'll just be honest with you. I've really struggled to make this video, but I hope, just like in the Bible, God said to Elijah, sorry, my voice is not in the storm, my voice is not in the fire, my voice is not in the wind, but my voice is that still small voice in the middle of it all. It's a whisper. God doesn't shout. And no matter what this disease has done to my voice, this flu is doing to the quality of the output of my mouth, I believe it is still enough to cause you to rouse up, to awaken, to be delivered, and to deliver others. Please subscribe to me, and welcome people to like this page, to follow it, to to. I'm sorry, I'm a bit sick. That's all. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Um, this was Narcissism Denied. Peace.